yoga, we have to understand that yoga is not just about what we do on the mat and how beautiful your body looks on the mat. It's not so much the precision of the body, but about the imprecision of our mind. Right? So write that down. Yoga is not so much about the precision of our body, but about the imprecision of our mind. Right? Do you need me to repeat that?
Yes.
Yoga is not so much about the precision of our body, but about the imprecision of our mind. And so that's why we study the yamas, which are the attitudes that we have toward people, things, circumstances that are outside ourselves. And the yamas mean to be disciplined or restrained from negative attitudes or behaviors. Right? And before we can actually restrain ourselves, we have to become aware of these negative attitudes, right? So the first step in any healing process is an awareness. Right? And when we become aware, then we become the master of our decisions. Because when you're in awareness, you can then make a choice. Do you continue on that negative path? Or are you strong enough to pull back and then move forward, regroup, and take the detour into the positive path? Right? How many of you guys have ever gotten really pissed at somebody? Anybody? Before you became really pissed at somebody, or even your car, I've seen people kick their car, right? Before you became really pissed, were you aware of how angry you were, or did you just do it?
Just did it.
Just did it, okay? How many of you guys just did it? You just did it. And then after it was all over, you were like, oh my gosh. Anybody? Normally that's what happens, and that's what yoga tells us, is we need to step back. Because if you were aware of the fact that you were going to say things that you didn't mean, would you have said them?
No.
No. So we take these 8 steps to get to all the way to what we call Samadhi, which is bliss, which is then we are able to allow things to flow in the flow of life, right? And we learn to do that by working through our mind, and then working through our body, and working through the emotions, and then having the discipline, right? How many of you guys, and then it transfers, let me bring it to you now, that's the history. Now let me bring it to you 21st century. How many of you guys know exactly what it takes to get an A in your classes? Raise your hand if you know what it takes. I'm not going to ask you, quiz you. Do you know what it takes to get an A in all your classes? Yeah? Okay. We all know that mentally, intellectually, yes?
Yes.
But what happens then? What happens, and why don't we get the A?
Procrastination.
Procrastination. Procrastination. What else?
Laziness.
Laziness. What else?
Excuses.
Excuses. What else? Anything else? How about fears? Anybody sort of afraid of what of taking a certain action because it might be the wrong action? Any fears like that? No?
I'm scared to take my math test.
Right. So those fears, now depending on how strong you are, that fear can either stop you or drive you. It can stop you in the sense that you're already so scared that even if you opened up your book, you would be really scared, so you'd rather not think about it, so you leave the book there and you walk into the test tomorrow, if you walk in, because I've seen the test scare people away, right? But let's say you walk into your test, well, you walk in unprepared, right? She knows what it takes, but that's a major fear. That's a fear that is very valid, and it stops us, right? What we try to do with yoga, what we try to do is to be aware of those fears, hopefully transform them, and then be able to take action to move past them, right? And that's why there's 8 steps, because you can't just do that, because all of us, and then when you get older, let's say you own a business or something, and if I walked up to you and I said, what is it going to take for you to make 6 figures? You can probably tell me, well, I'm going to have to get out there and call my clients. I'm going to have to talk to so many people. I'm going to have to really know my marketing plan. I'm really going to have to... But you know, we all know intellectually, but the one little key inside there is what is stopping us from the knowing to taking the action. And have you guys ever seen the saying that says knowledge is power?
Yeah.
Well, how good is that power if you just keep it all in here and you never act upon it? So I beg to differ with that. Knowledge is not power. It's what you do with the knowledge that becomes the power. Would you agree with me? Because we all have the knowledge. We all know what it takes to get an A, but at the end of the day, who's going to get an A? The person that took the knowledge and took the action to make it happen, correct? And that's what we need to see, and that's why we drive and move our bodies through the mat, because we work through it energetically, right? Because even our thoughts are energetic, right? And so you take it from here, you swallow the thought, you move through the body, and then you release it. And when you release it through the body, and your mind and your body become one, then all of a sudden, I know, and I'm going to take the action, right? That's when we get to, that is a combination of history, and that is when we get to bliss, right? Wouldn't it be awesome if you could take the action you needed to take every day to get that A? You would always have straight A's for the rest of your life. Wouldn't that be awesome? But we have to find it. We have to move the fears through the body. It's an energy. We have to move them through our chakras. And when they stop at one of the chakras, we need to know, and so we have to open up those chakras, right? And hopefully when we get down to Samadhi and bliss, we're living the life we want to live. Now that's taking the 8 steps of yoga and translating into the 21st century. How we can use our yoga today, off of our mat and into our life. Make sense? So that's when we work through, that's what we're looking for. Now, let me explain to you, when we do the niyamas, and the yamas and the niyamas, you're going to find that a lot of that is how our attitudes inside our body. The breath control. I taught you how to breathe. That's important, right? That's your vital energy, right? Then you go to non-attachment. Non-attachment means it means being okay and honoring your body exactly how it is today, right? Because let's say today you've got a little cold or something going on and your body's just not going to make it there, right? But you honor it. Non-attachment means let go